Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily story with a chapter from one of my novellas. Before I start today's chapter, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this book and any of my other fiction, then they're all available from all major ebook retailers. You can order the paperback and hardback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore and local library if you requested. Also, if you want the AI generated audiobook, then you can get it from selected audiobook platforms and library systems like Kobo, Spotify, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, Baker & Taylor, Biblioteca and Overdrive. Now, here's today's chapter. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did writing it.
Chapter 2. The 18th of October 2023. Canterbury, England. 7:45. Detective Graham Adams really did enjoy the darkness of the autumn mornings, because they were just so mysterious, dark, and they suggested that anything could happen. And for the briefest of moments, he almost believed that he wasn't just going to be spending the entire day doing paperwork for lazy-ass detectives that wanted to punish him for being incorruptible and a hard ass. Graham hugged Harrison, as him and Elizabeth had just awoken up, and he wanted hugs with his dad. Graham never ever had a problem with that, so he sat on the black sofa as Sean fixed him and Isabella a plate of waffles each. Graham knew he had to be careful to make sure Harrison the vulture didn't steal all of his food, but he was just so cute that he knew it was going to happen. Just like how he knew that Elizabeth was going to steal all of Betty's food. Damn, he loved his kids. Graham had to admit that Isabella was wearing a very fitting business suit that definitely highlighted her fit gym body, thin legs and arms, and she just looked good. She was nothing compared to Betty, but he could understand why Mr. Hill had loved her. "So what's this all about?" Betty asked him. Graham smiled. He did love being a floater detective, so he wasn't tied down to any single department in Kent Police, but his job certainly made explaining things hard at times. "You must be aware that the police are searching Canterbury Lake for evidence," Graham said. "Sort of, but what's the case?" Betty asked. Isabella sliced into her waffles. 2 years ago my beautiful daughter Sarah was going to a club and after party at some uni friend's house. She never made it home that night or any night since. "God," Betty said, giving Elizabeth some waffle. "Daddy?" Harrison asked. Harrison just looked at Graham like that was so unfair. Graham laughed and gave his precious angel a piece. The police searched for a week, they didn't find her. They conducted a murder investigation after they found a knife covered in dried blood in the house of the party, but it later turned out the blood was fake. "No one knows what happened to the daughter," Graham said. Betty nodded. "Okay, I presume the case went cold, so what's happening with the lake?" "Now that is definitely where things get interesting," Graham said, smiling. 2 weeks ago, a dying man in a German prison contacted the British Embassy after saying that he spent time in a cell with an Englishman claiming to have raped, killed and buried 3 young women in a lake in Canterbury. Isabella took a mouthful of her waffle. Graham did the same. He couldn't believe the sensational explosion of fluffiness and flavor in his mouth. It was amazing. "So what happened next?" Sean asked. The British ambassador reported this to the Foreign Office, who passed it on to the Home Office, who passed it on to the police, and after 3 hours of receiving the information, the police launched the search, Graham said. "Mummy?" Elizabeth asked. Betty laughed as she gave her daughter another piece of waffle, and before Harrison could ever react, Graham passed him another piece. "Love you, Daddy." Graham just laughed. "Do you know what made the police act so quickly?" Betty asked. "The offender?" Graham asked. "The monster and rapist you mean," Isabella said. It turned out that Alex White was spotted and interviewed by police as part of the original investigation, and since that time he has been arrested on suspicions of rape 3 separate times in 3 separate cities, but the women later canted their statements before one of their family members always had a strange fall down the stairs, Graham said. Graham absolutely hated talking about this monster, but it was why he had come to Betty, because if anyone could put this monster away forever, it would be her. Okay, Harry said, so the police believe they have a lead, but why the lake, and most importantly, why did you mention a deadline? Isabella frowned. The police say they are looking for the bodies of the 3 young women, and they don't know where they are exactly. They are just in the lake somewhere. Graham nodded. And the deadline is because Alex White has booked a one-way ticket to the USA that is taking off at 4 p.m. There is no evidence, so we cannot charge him or arrest him, and we both know that extradition once he gets to the USA will be difficult. Giving him another chance to flee, Betty said. Betty finished off her waffles and smiled. So we have 8 hours to solve a murder, find evidence and stop a killer from escaping forever. Not a short order then, Graham said, grinning. If in case we do take the case, Betty said, and we find the worse, are there any marks on her body that we can use to identify her? Isabella frowned. Not really, but she does have fractures on her left arm from a boating accident she had 4 years ago. Is that helpful? Graham had no idea, but Betty seemed pleased. Will you all help me? Isabella said. Graham, Sean and Harry just looked at Betty, their fearless leader, and they all grinned as she nodded. Let's get the bastard.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.